Thank you very much. I appreciate following Mario because we do share a lot of the same problems, Canada and the United States. But I have to say that I'm going to be a bit more optimistic. I think that there is a lot of really exciting progress being made in the United States for the art cinema. So this is to start out with. This is my cinema. It's located in Tucson, Arizona, which is just south of Phoenix and just a few kilometers north of the Mexican border. Trump is not very popular there. These are the shot of my marquee and then also the beautiful Sonoran Desert in which we're located. Just wanted to give you a geographical idea of where we were. This is our mission statement. We're a local nonprofit cinema dedicated to creating communities through film, which is really the key to what we do. We bring people together to watch movies, and that group of people becomes a community. We honor the vision of filmmakers, which is also another way to say we're against censorship. We celebrate ideas and promote the appreciation and understanding of the art of film, which means, in other words, education about film. We have lots of programming that takes a variety of different forms, but we do share one very strong thing with all cinemas in Europe and elsewhere, is that we also don't want to have the Hollywood films dominate everything. So we share that goal. We don't like Hollywood films either. They're fine for what they are, but they're not. That's not what we do. What we do is show the quality, excellent films from independent world of America and from all around the world. And really quality films like The Room. I don't know if you've seen that or not, but that's the guy who plays Mark, who came and we did a script reading. It was really a lot of fun. So we just do lots of events. We show first-run films. We had 372 first-run films in 2015. We did a Back to the Future event on Back to the Future Day last year. We bring in lots of industry professionals. That's our big theater. Everybody's got a glow stick. I don't remember what the movie was. We do glow sticks a lot, so it could be anything. We also bring in celebrities like Rita Moreno. And she was a guest at our film festival. We have a film festival, we'll be in the 7th year this year, and I think we're still the only American festival member of the CKA. Very proud of that, and we'll be giving our 2nd CKA award this year. Rita Moreno came last year with a screening of West Side Story. Alfonso Arau was there with the screening of his film, Like Water for Chocolate. And we also showed Three Amigos. He plays El Guapo, and it was filmed in Tucson, so he's kind of a legend in Tucson. Bruce Dern and Stacy Keach have been there. Oh, I don't know that. I just thought I'd throw that in to show we're very proud of having Francesco at our festival. Bobcat Goldthwait is a good friend. He comes a lot to the Loft during the film festival, and sometimes he just shows up on his own, which is very cool. We are rebranding the festival. We're using the image of a jaguar because there's only one jaguar in North America and it's located in Tucson. So we thought honoring that uniqueness to Tucson was a great way to profile our film festival. We also curate a children's film festival. Have lots of people in the community involved. This is a Trailless Cam as a sponsor. They brought some cowboys out. We had a pirate screening. We also started this summer a day camp for kids to learn to do stop action animation. They had a great time. We also have, I think, the longest running short film competition in the U.S. It's been going on, this will be its 11th year. Local filmmakers bring their short films, they're screened, the audience votes. The winner gets a prize and goes on to compete at the year end, which they get $1,000 if they're the best film. And some of the films are really, really good. They get $200 if they win monthly, so there's that. We also have, I'm just going to run through a few of our other programs to give you an idea of our programming. We do Essential Cinema, which is art films, and Albert Maysles was kicked the series off with Grey Gardens. He came to the Loft 3 times. We do art on the screen. You probably recognize Benedict Cumberbatch and Hamlet. We do journalism on screen. We had Glenn Greenwald and Noam Chomsky talk about Citizen 4. And then there was an event outside of our theater, because our theater wasn't big enough, and Edward Snowden Skyped in, and we talked with Noam Chomsky and Glenn Greenwald without the screening of the film. So we worked with the New York Times in that series and the journalism department at the university. We also get a grant from the Sloan Foundation for something called Science on Screen. And that's Lawrence Krauss with a film called The Unbelievers. He's a very famous atheist, and it was a very interesting screening. We also work with the Nativized Film Showcase, which is films with Native Americans, by and for and about and with Native Americans. The man on the right is Cheske Spencer, who was in the Twilight series. We had him here with a small independent film he made. We also do the Rocky Horror Picture Show. We've been doing it since 1977. And we do lots of silly special events like a Beatles sing-along. This was Walt Disney's Beauty and the Beast, a holiday sing-along, and Frozen. And we sell those out every time. It's quite amazing. We also have 141 community partners, which I think is such a key to success. We work with a no-kill shelter on the Internet Cat Video Festival, which, if I'm telling you, it's so easy. You just put it up on the marquee and you sell out your house immediately. The shelter came and adopted out cats. And then we had the zoo come with a petting zoo for kids during our Kids Fest. So this is just a quick look at what we do. I have copies of our annual report. These are pages from that. So I'll go through this very quickly, but I also made notes from my talk if you're interested. I had to type them up anyway, so I figured I might as well clean them up and hand them out. We have 3 screens. Our biggest has 500 seats and has 35 and 70 millimeter capacity. We are one of 23 members of the Sundance Art House Project. We're one of 50 members of the New York Film Critics Series, which we are partnering with on our film festival this year. They're going to be doing a screening of a new film at our festival. We're one of 2 members of the CPIA from America, and we're the only festival member. Sorry, it's so small on the screen, I can't quite see it. We had 185,000 plus people attend the cinema in 2015. Was our highest attended year ever. And if you can see the numbers underneath, it's about a third of under 35, 35 to 55 and over 55. I don't think that's the trend. I think we're way ahead of the curve in terms of younger people. I think it's just all about programming. We program. I have a very head programming team, and they know what people want to see, and they have a tremendous capacity for marketing and programming that transcends all the different categories of people, and we do draw an enormous number of young people. We sold 9,100 pounds of organic popcorn last year. We had 5,475 screenings, 445 special events, and 372 new films, and 65 free screenings, which accounted for about 24% of all of our admissions. So this is our gross revenue by year, and you can see it goes up. And this year, we're 22% ahead of where we were this time last year. This year is just off the charts. We have a membership program I'll talk about a little bit more later, but we have great volunteers who sit outside the theater and urge people to become members. And we have, that's our 70 millimeter projector. Our first screening was 2001. You can see that that's HOUS, and there's another shot of the cinema with every seat full. for that amazing screening. We're also the first U.S. member of the Solar World Cinema Network. I think Maureen was here. And so we're very excited, and it's Arizona, we have so much sun, so it made a lot of sense to have a solar cinema. And we have a screening on the University of Arizona Mall of Jurassic World. Wasn't my choice, but we had over 2,000 students come to the screening, so that was one of the first solar screenings, so we're very excited about the prospects for the future. And we just have a lot of fun, and I think that it goes to show that, you know, you can do it if you just are creative and think outside the box. This is just a quick artist sketch. Right now, this is our big screen. This is our second screen. And that is 45 feet between the two buildings, and now is just dirt. And we're hoping to build a third screen, and then this is the upstairs, which would be our offices, and hopefully an open air rooftop screen. That's our plans for the future. There is no government money for any of that. So let me progress now on to talk about the general American scene. One of the things that I think is interesting about art houses is that they reflect the local community. All the multiplexes all look alike. You can be just about anywhere, and you would know where you are because it looks exactly the same in every city. But art houses reflect the community. This is the Media Art Center and Digital Gym in San Diego. They're very diverse looking group of theaters. This is in Montgomery, Alabama. It was built in 1941. So 90% of the art houses in the United States are independent, meaning they're not part of a chain. 75% are nonprofit. About half own their buildings. Most are in metropolitan areas, cities, and are located near colleges and universities. The audiences are primarily adults. Most of them have one screen. The average number of seats is 424. All American art houses report having some educational programming. 71% offer alcoholic beverages, which I think is key to drawing in younger audiences. We have very healthy beer sales. About a third of the expenses go for salaries, and the average number of employees are 8 full-time and 12 part-time. About 3/4 of the nonprofit art houses made a profit in 2015, and about 67%, or just over 2/3, continue to project 35mm film. So who goes to the American Art House? This comes from a survey that Sundance did. People who prefer to see films on the big screen, people who consider going to films a social experience, and people who go to a lot of movies, and that's an average of more than 25 per year. So a quick case study of the American box office. So my cinema, the Loft Cinema, has 3 screens. We showed 366 first-run films, and we made a gross box office of just under $1 million. There's a Century Theater within a mile and a half of us. Has 20 screens. It had 305 first-run films, so fewer films, and the box office was $6.5 million. So fewer films, more screens, far more money. The top grossing film for us was Mr. Holmes with 34,000 plus, and theirs was Jurassic World with almost 400,000. The total box office through July of this year at the Loft was $722,000, and at our neighboring Elcon it was about $4.5 million. And yeah, the top chart is the American box office for industry-wide. So that's mostly the commercial theaters because we're like 1% of the commercial. And the bottom chart is us, the Loft, goes up. So I think it just shows that even though the numbers are so big on their end, they've got so much overhead, they pay more in the higher percentage to the distributor, and they just got a model that is more, I think, threatened by some of the alternative platforms. Whereas we are making film fun, we're creating experiences, you walk in the door and you do something different, you do something social, you have fun, you dress up, or you sing along, or you see a movie that other people haven't seen, and it's got a certain cachet and it's working. And like I said, this year we're 22% ahead of where we were last year at this time. So it's just possible. It's very possible to be successful. So the challenges we have are that there is no public policy at the national level. There are no national subsidies. Basically, nobody cares about the American Art House. It's all about Hollywood. Hollywood doesn't need subsidies. Hollywood's doing, if you read the paper every Monday morning, it's like, oh, it was a bad weekend. The movie only made $50 million, and it cost $200 million to make. It's like, oh my God, well, don't spend so much money making it. But nobody cares about the Art House at the federal level. All federal funding that is available for the arts comes, most of it from the National Endowment for the Arts, which is federally funded, and it's distributed through competitive grants. We applied for our first one this year and find out in November if we got it. Major foundations like the Ford Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation, a few major private foundations tend to favor specific geographic areas, although some are open to the entire country. And funding at the state and city level varies from none, in our case, to very generous. In cities like Salt Lake City, they have enormous support for the arts from their city. So it's kind of a luck of the draw, I guess, but we ended up in a city that does not offer support. So the average total revenue for the American nonprofit art houses from donations from private philanthropy is about 15%, and almost all of those donations are tax deductible. And the bottom chart is the Loft's, how we're doing. We get 44% from box office, 22% from concessions, and 31% from basically donations, the result of fundraising. So we are ahead of the national average in terms of the percentage of the budget on fundraising revenue. So the average revenue for the American nonprofit is 50% box office, 15% concessions, and 35% other revenue streams. These include donations from individuals and corporations, grants from private foundations, memberships, advertising, sponsorships, venue rentals, renting out the theater to other groups, and fundraising events like galas, which we do not do. I'm going to just real quickly give you a case study of membership. I don't know, do you have membership at your theaters? Yes? We introduced in 2014 two high-level memberships, one at $2,500 and one at $5,000. It was an experiment. We didn't know how it would work. We gave everybody free admission to everything. We throw about 6 or 7 private parties every year that are catered and really lovely, and we talk about movies. And we do an Oscar party off the grid so that we don't advertise it or anything. We just send private invitations to these people. And the $5,000 members get free wine and beer. And so in 2013, before we started this membership program, we made $236,000 in membership. When we kicked it off, we had a 54% increase in our membership dollars, almost $366,000. In 2015, we gained another 11%, and this year we're 50% ahead of where we were last year. It's not all because of these higher level memberships, but they've really made a big difference. The other thing is that these people who are willing to give us that much money become incredible advocates for us. So the other issues that face the American Art House are going green, which I know is a big issue for everybody. I think everybody immediately thinks that means adding solar energy, but it's not really where we're going to be going in the near future, but it's recycling. We compost the popcorn we don't sell at the end of the night with the local food bank that comes and picks it up, and we try to, we're working with a local group on sustainability that came in and did an audit, and we're trying to figure out all the different ways that we can be more green. The other major issue for us is trying to come up with technology for hearing and vision impaired patrons. The problem is there are 2 or 3 or 4 possible ways to go, and the industry hasn't agreed on a standard. And we don't want to invest in, the holder for the iPad or the glasses or whatever, and then in a year, the industry decides to go a different direction, and we've made an investment in what has then become obsolete. So we're in a holding pattern, which makes us very uncomfortable because we feel like we're not doing a service that we feel committed to, but we just can't make that leap until the industry comes up with some kind of a standard. So there is no CKA in the United States. The only way that art houses are able to network and get together like this and talk is through the Art House Convergence. And its mission is to increase the quantity and quality of art house cinemas, redundancy, art houses in North America. And the Art House Convergence takes place, it starts on Monday and ends on Thursday, and Thursday is the day the Sundance Festival starts, so it's just the 3.5 days before the Sundance Film Festival starts. And it's about 500 art houses, film festivals, and allied organizations, and we meet to discuss, much as you're doing, discuss issues, challenges, opportunities, we share ideas, and there's everybody from the person that's planning to open an art house, the one who's had one open since forever, and the one in between. It's all different sizes and shapes, and it's a great group of people. And that is my presentation. Thank you.
I was really impressed about your membership scheme. I've never known of anything quite like that. I know museums are very good sometimes to get people to give gifts and become friends, but I've never known a cinema to be able to get a scheme as unique as yours. So could you give me a little bit more details about it?
We actually worked on the concept. At the Art House Convergence at the Sundance conference, somebody spoke about their membership program that went up to $10,000, and it was in Austin, and it was in a venue that had a lot of live performances. So people were able to, at this $10,000 level, go backstage and meet Liza Minnelli.
Right.
And so it felt like it was over our head because we're not like that. So we spent 2 or 3 years with ideas and just floating things, and we finally just agreed on 2,500 and 5,000 as the levels. And we just had several sessions where everybody who worked at the theater and some of the board members came in, and we just thought about every single detail. And we launched it, and we made, I think, the first month $75,000 just from those high-level memberships. And simultaneous to that, we also did our first actual membership drive. So our members get 2 free passes per member, and we doubled that, so you would get 4. We simply doubled the number of passes, and our membership went up 50%. It was incredible what people will do for two more passes to the movies. And again, I think it's because of the free passes, but it's also because they love the Loft and they want to support us, and this is a way for them to support us and yet get something of value back.
It feels as though you've created something where you've tapped into your local community, and so they feel very involved. Like a part of, it is very much a part of their lives. Is that the case, would you say?
I mean, we've worked very hard to give our community a feeling of ownership of the cinema.
Yeah.
Like them to feel like they're beyond, patrons, that they really, we listen to their suggestions and their complaints, and, and really take it. And I do think that we've reached, we'll be 15 years as a nonprofit next year. And we have reached some magical, equation of something that seems to really